Bro, we are literally 1 to 2 generations removed from people who stopped taking a bus for a whole year just to protest segregation. And now 1 to 2 generations later, we have people talking about they have boycott fatigue off of giving up an $8 drink that they could probably make at home. Off of giving up an overpriced McChicken, because I know we all remember when them shits used to be $107, now they're over $3. You have fatigue from giving up an overpriced burger? I feel like that's when I knew that we had lost the plot. Yeah.
Strong nose, you get what I mean? High cheekbones. You guys are so quick to call her a man because
I'm non-binary, right? But every man I've ever talked to in the past 2 years has asked me if I was assigned female at birth or assigned male at birth. I don't want you. I want money. I don't need you. I want money.
Y'all motherfuckers don't got a problem with it because there's an injustice happening. Y'all have a problem because the injustice is too loud for you to ignore. I'm honestly damn near more afraid that the Palestinian people will receive some sort of aid, and it'll be just enough for the global collective to be like, oh, they're okay now that they're not dying by bombs. Oh, if it's a slow death, oh, if it's an open-air prison, oh, if it's an apartheid state, oh, then that's okay. This is why we don't call for peace. We don't just call for a ceasefire. We call for liberation. Shit, the thing that stands in the way of liberation the most is peace. It's damn near a textbook abusive relationship in that the abuser keeps the abused in a state where the abused is constantly looking towards the abuser for its peace, when the abuser is the thing keeping it from peace in the first fucking place. The truth of the matter is, though, that your For You page will go back to normal, and you will have to intentionally seek out this information, and most of you won't, because in all reality, you never cared about the problem. You just cared that the problem was affecting you.
I'm going to test my girlfriend on my language. Are you ready?
Yeah.
What's my tribe?
Wongatha.
Aboriginal name?
Wadabi.
First word, Wandi.
No.
Yep. Nanaba.
Cute. Nanaba.
Very Nanaba. You're not.
You're not. Yuck. Like that.
Maru.
Kangaroo.
Correct. Minma.
Girlfriend. Or like your partner. Your woman. Your lady.
Minma means lady, woman.
Yeah.
My Minma.
Yeah.
Naru.
Feel sorry. Not
Yes.
sorry.
Yes.
But you're feeling
Yeah,
like,
feeling
oh.
sorry. Gabi nangana.
Gabi water. Nangana. No.
Waterhole. Yuwa.
All good, yes. Like at the beginning of a
Yes.
conversation or
Yeah.
at the end or in the middle, you are.
A lot of my language can be used as a few different English words because it doesn't translate directly. So yuwa means yes, all good. Okay, yep. Right. Just depends how it's said. Well done. You whoa, balanyo.
I do really appreciate genuine questions like this one because I want my platform to be a place where people can unlearn Zionist propaganda and learn more about Palestine in a space that feels welcoming and informative. So with that being said, let's talk about this. An ethnostate is a sovereign state in which citizenship or certain rights are restricted to people based on ethnicity or race. Under that definition, South Korea and Japan do not fall into the category of an ethnostate. Let's look at Japan, for example. While most Japanese share an ethnicity, there are also different ethnic groups like Okinawans. Now, while ethnic minorities like Okinawans might face discrimination in Japan, and please anyone elaborate, I am not an expert on this, just following the example, there is no formal system of apartheid where ethnic minorities in Japan are forced to drive on separate roads, apply for permits in order to enter and leave their cities, etc. And so, yeah, that's what makes Israel different. It was founded on the forced displacement, expulsion, and murder of Palestinians to create a Jewish state. There is a Jewish right of return in which Jews around the world can immigrate, make aliyah to Israel very easily. And while some Palestinians who are not Jewish have been granted citizenship over the years, this is a very small proportion to the number of Palestinians who currently reside between the Jordan River and the Mediterranean Sea, and the number of Palestinians, millions, who have been displaced worldwide from their homes. A few Palestinians being granted Israeli citizenship does not take away from the fact that Israel is an ethnostate. It defines itself as such under the 2019 nation-state law. And there is no Palestinian state or sovereignty. Palestinians live in Gaza or the West Bank, some in East Jerusalem. They have to retrieve permits in order to go and work in Tel Aviv or other Israeli cities. Their movement is entirely controlled by Israel and Israel's military. They are subject to complete Israeli sovereignty. There is no autonomy. People act as if Hamas is like a full sovereign leader, and it is not. The Palestinian Authority in the West Bank is essentially a puppet of Israel. And so you have an entire group of people who are restricted from movement, equal rights, access to resources. And this is all due to the creation of Israel as an ethnostate, in a way that is very different from places like Japan or South Korea, where most people are one ethnicity, but ethnic minorities are not restricted in this way. Also, might I add, Palestinians are not an actual physical minority in the land of Palestine that is occupied by Israel. Like I've mentioned before multiple times, if you were to give every single person equal rights in this land, there would no longer be a Jewish Israeli majority. So yeah, I hope that all makes sense.
Mankichu, Manachu, Quechua, Harawi, Nyawi, Kimsa, Kashkani Rakmi, Wari Taitai, Sutaika Inka, Chuki Chinchai. Please don't ask me for a translation, cause I'm only repping First Nation. Please don't talk to me about decolonization when you still speaking in the colonizer's language.
I hear people saying, oh, don't worry, history will remember, we're on the right side of history and we'll realize in the future. But history is written by the winners. It's manipulated and shaped to be whatever the people in power want us to believe. So no, it's not a guarantee that history will remember the genocide of Palestine if the same systems of power are allowed to stay in place. There's been dozens of massacres over the past few decades for imperialistic purposes that have been completely erased in history. Look up Operation Condor or the coups in Guatemala, in Chile, in Indonesia, the U.S. invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan, even the genocide of Native Americans. There's been no accountability or no reckoning by the U.S. at all. Even in Palestine, one of the reasons Israel has so much legitimacy right now is because of the erasure of history, because of memoricide, which means literally depriving people on their own land of their own history. Back when the Nakba happened, Zionists renamed many Palestinian Arab geographical sites to give them Hebrew biblical names, to give more legitimacy to the Israeli state and basically erase thousands of years of history. There's been a systematic uprooting of Palestinians' olive trees because they symbolize a connection with the land. So if we want history to remember this, then we cannot stay silent. Staying silent means allowing the oppressors to continue to rewrite history however they want. If we want the US and Israel to be held accountable, then we have to keep fighting until there's a free Palestine, until there's a free Sudan, until there's a free Congo. Otherwise, history will write over it and allow the cycles of violence to keep happening again and again.
When I saw this article, I was like so shocked that it was written by the LA Times. Because I was like, are we being bamboozled? Like, what is this, right? Calling for a ceasefire? The killing in Gaza must stop? Did somebody break into their office and wrote this? Because I thought Israel kind of owned all the publications in America. And they actually call it out Israel, like with everything that they have done in the article. Hold on. The article highlights a lot of good points, but I'm going to read this one. It is time for a ceasefire. It is time for the Biden administration to exert strong and sustained pressure on the government of Netanyahu to stop attacks that have reportedly already killed more than 11,000 Gazans. The world cannot stand by to witness more slaughter of civilians. Are we seeing things like the LA Times? What's next? The New York Times is going to start writing stuff like this? I mean, this is exciting. This is good. And it just speaks that we are doing our job. Like us protesting, spreading the information out there to show that the Palestinians are being targeted, and basically the intention of Netanyahu is to wipe out these people. Like, we are doing a good job for LA Times to now start speaking the truth. Bravo, guys. Everybody pat yourself on the back. We have done it and we continue to do it. Let's continue doing what we're doing until we get a ceasefire and more. Okay?
The hypocrisy on mainstream media is disgusting, y'all. Now, I don't watch basketball, but this guy caught a lot of attention about what he wore in an interview yesterday. I'm sure a lot of you guys know Kyrie Irving. He's an American/Australian basketball player, and he plays for the Mavericks. Now, I believe yesterday they lost the game, but what took a lot of attention is the fact that he rolled up into the interview wearing the Palestinian traditional scarf, which is the keffiyeh, to show in solidarity for the Palestinian people. And a lot of people came for him, not necessarily this interview, but on his social media. Now, what I find super hypocritical about all of this is that not too long ago, yes, Louis Vuitton did their own spin on the keffiyeh. Look, they even called it a keffiyeh. And they charged y'all $705 for not a political statement, but for fashion. And how are we going to forget about the House of Fendi? They did their own little spin on the keffiyeh and charged y'all $1,350 for it. See, when fashion household do it, it's an homage to fashion. But when a Palestinian wears their traditional attire, it's a political statement.
Children are undergoing limb amputations without anesthesia. Where is the humanity? Cancer patients are deteriorating following the bombing of the only cancer hospital in Gaza. Where is the humanity? Newborns die one after the other without powerful incubators and respiratory support machines. Where is the humanity? I'm deeply saddened after receiving news of the death of my friend, a doctor in Gaza, while resuscitating a child. I'm deeply, deeply concerned, as I have other friends in Gaza, other doctors there, who also might die if we don't stop this. Where is the humanity? Civilians should not be military targets. Children should not be targets. Hospitals and healthcare workers shouldn't be targets. I urge the government to call for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire.
With 70% of Canadians calling for a ceasefire in Gaza, why aren't you calling for it? Ceasefire now! 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 Ceasefire now!
What do we say when someone who supports genocide says they're going to unfollow us? We say thank you for unfollowing us, because that's not a place for you here. We don't support genocide in this household. No. See, I'm definitely not your mom, because I'm raising my kids not to support genocide.
So with YouTube taking down 15 years worth of footage and information on Palestine, and with the heavy increase in censorship on here, I want everyone to email a group called the Cutting Room Floor. They are a video game archivist group, but they focus primarily on cut and unseen content. I can't think of a group with a more efficient skill set for archiving this information, because we cannot lose it. And once we retain the documentation, we can spread it in other ways. I don't know if they've been silent or not. It's worth a shot. So I'm gonna go send them an email, and please, everyone else do it too. They have the skills to collect at least probably some of what's already been removed, and obviously start downloading videos, start burning stuff to CDs and DVDs. And if you know other archivist groups, obviously mention them, but go email them too. It's okay to get it from multiple sources. This time. I'm so terrified.
What we're celebrating, folks. And for all of you who took pictures of me with my nice little pilgrim head buddy here, I hope you get the story that goes with it, because anyone who sees this, I'm sure, thinks I'm a sick, twisted individual. This is a reminder. This is what Hallmark greeting cards and Charlie Brown cartoons should be showing when we celebrate this holiday every year, when we celebrate Columbus Day every year, because this is what it represented. I'm going to shut my mouth so we can get on way with this march through town, because we need all of you who are here to get this story out to the people. I can only visit so many schools in this time that I am here on this earth. And I can only visit those who are welcome to hearing the truth and invite me to do so. I encourage all of you to do the same. I look out and I see in this crowd, I see some people that I've been at their schools, and they are here now, standing in solidarity. I really appreciate this. It means they're listening. Somebody's listening, and they don't appreciate what's going on. This symbol right here, we're going to march all the way around, and we're going to make one stop at the church where King Philip's head sat on a pole until it rotted for over 20 some odd years. For those of you who do not know who King Philip was, he was the man who started the most patriotic uprising this country will ever see, when its native people stood against these forces and this manner of warfare. During King Philip's war, when King Philip abducted Mary Rawlinson, she reported in her own writings she was treated with far greater respect by this savage than she was by her own people. Our women were topless. There was no rape. We did not need abortions. The word matumwasus is what we call our women. It does not mean woman. It means she who makes all decisions. We had a high respect for our women. That was something Pilgrims never understood and still does not translate into America today. Square buildings that cost us so much to heat, to build, to cool, because we're sheltering ourselves from what's going on in the natural world. I've never seen a bird build a square bird's nest. That is the most absurd thing, and Americans still repeat this European nonsense. When are we going to come up and show the rest of the world what should have always been there when we first tried to get our teachings across in the 1600s? Listen to us. We're not saying we're better. We're just saying this works in nature.
A ceasefire is not enough. Start putting pressure on your politicians now to demand the return of Palestinian land to the Palestinian people. Demand the rebuilding of Gaza. Demand tribunals on the ICC.
Y'all want to see something really weird and cool? Green leaves. Something even weirder? Fresh green grass. Soft, supple. We're in the 3rd week of November. I am sweating and I'm wearing a light coat. Yeah, sure, I'm fear-mongering, but you should be worried. Yeah, okay, you can still walk to work, that's nice. You and your family can still have nice backyard barbecues or whatever. It's a long fall, yay. I need you for a second to think about not city people. Instead, think about people who still rely on the land. My community, Indigenous people. And if you don't have it in your heart to care about Indigenous people, then think about farmers. It's nice for us now, we live in a city, but this is going to seriously affect the hunting, the gathering, medicine picking, the ceremony, the livelihoods of men, women, and children who rely on the land. The animals will be different, the plants will be different, the water system, the hydrology will be different. All because it's warm in the 3rd week of November. No snow in sight. It's not even bloody cold. So yeah, it might be nice for you right now, but this will affect you later. It's already affecting Indigenous communities. There will be more fires, more floods, and less food. Okay, so I filmed that the other day, but then I was meeting with a friend so I can finish. But I'm finishing it now, and I'm not someone that's going to leave you with this anxiety about what's happening that feels kind of uncontrollable. Instead, we can direct it. So I have a list of resources in my bio that you can look at, and I can tell you that you can make small changes in your life, which you probably already know what I'm gonna say. And we're powerful as a group of people, as the civilians, you know? If we come together, we can do a lot of good work. We can change a lot of things. So I think we need to direct our energy towards big corporations, the ones that are actually doing the most damage. Like, yes, we as a people, our consumerism drives the capitalistic society we live in. We've been indoctrinated to believe that we need all these things that we don't actually need, like new iPhones every year, or an excessive amount of groceries, or the newest clothing. So we can boycott things, which is great. But we also need to start directly reaching out to the fuckers who are in charge of the companies dumping and polluting our earth and driving climate change. Again, there's a list in my bio. Check it out. There's that one saying, flowers are blooming in Antarctica. Anyways, that's all.
So people have really come up to me expecting me to agree with their prejudices against men of color because there's so much feminine rage in Iron Widow and that's all they saw, I guess. I cannot believe I have to say this, but feminine rage was not the only theme in Iron Widow. So much of the book was also about the demonization of racialized men. Like, typical masculine traits that are praised in men of the dominant race are suddenly like, oh, threatening and scary when they're found in a man from a racial minority, and those traits end up hindering them in society. Like, it's the whole thing is just solidarity between a woman and a racialized man. You can't think about gender in a woman always innocent, men always bad binary because the standards change when it comes to men who are racialized. They get put into more danger because of their perceived masculinity. So just because there weren't any, this doesn't mean it doesn't address how gender intersects with race.
You guys know who my biggest haters will always be? White women who have any sort of like power in the workplace. The ones that are in their like middle age or like late 20s, early 30s, like those motherfuckers hate the shit out of me. Every time, I can't name a time that I've ever been fired and it hasn't been like a white woman, not even gonna lie. And I know this is probably gonna be taken down. I don't give a fuck though. I'm still gonna speak my shit. Hey, those motherfuckers, I don't know what it is, but I must be just like a really beautiful ass bitch for them to just be jealous as hell for no reason. Like, but it's crazy because like, you know, these motherfuckers are the beauty standard. So what the hell you angry as hell for? You know what I mean? So like, and honestly, it hypes me up a little bit to know that your ass is angry as hell because I'm just a pretty bitch. I'm nice, everybody likes me, and that just angers you. That me as a black woman I'm so confident, I speak my shit, I keep my head up, like I don't take shit from anybody, and that pisses you the fuck off. I love that so much. Like, I don't know what it is, but it feeds my ego. It makes me want to like just piss you off even more. Like, I don't know what it is. If I find out you're a hating bitch, I'm gonna make sure I feed that shit. I promise you that. Like even at when I'm taking anyone's order and it's like a white woman and with her mans, first of all, you can keep him. First of all, that's disrespectful as fuck. Talking about I'm gonna steal your man just because I'm literally taking your damn order. That's disrespectful as fuck, and cause he's white too. Pissing me the fuck off, making me spit all over the camera. Goddamn. Your nigga Greg? You think I want your nigga Greg? The fuck? That nigga don't